Jason Jordan took a vicious chair shot from Elias. It's only been one day since TLC concluded, and WWE is already gearing up for their next big event. The historic Survivor Series is about a month away, and Shane McMahon personally led a horde of troops onto Kurt Angle's territory for the sake of striking first. To state that the attack was surprising would be a huge understatement. In this article, some of the storyline botches that were glaringly left unaddressed will be pointed out, especially from that closing segment. Along with the nonsensicality of that very fun main event inter-brand war, poor Jason Jordan suffered a brutal guitar attack that caused noticeable damage. Rich Swann performed a big dive that completely missed his mark, and the craziest performer in all of WWE stole her opponent's finisher to help earn her a spot as the team captain. Leading off the most botchy and outrageous moments of the show was Kurt Angle's very unusual pronunciation of WWE Champion Jinder Mahal's name. Number 5. Jinder Mahal. Kurt Angle deserves all of the credit in the world. After an 11-year absence from a WWE ring, he stepped back into action as a last-minute substitute for a sick Roman Reigns inside a very violent TLC environment. He even took a running powerslam from Braun Strowman through a table, only to return to action later in the match to score the winning fall. Despite all the praise that the Olympic hero deserves from the past few days, he doesn't get a pass for his botched pronunciation of the name of SmackDown Live's top title holder. He somehow transformed the last syllable in Jinder Mahal's name to sound more like hell. To his credit, he did later call out Alicia Fox backstage for trying to pin Sasha Banks outside of the ring at TLC. Perhaps he read about that silly spot here? Number 4. Rich's overshoot. Rich Swann. Number 3. The Raw Women's team leader. Alicia Fox's naughtiness was on full display during her pursuit to become the leader of the Raw Women's Survivor Series team, and it was outrageously entertaining. Just take a look at some of her antics. She wrongly assumed that Kurt Angle wanted her, Sasha Banks, and Bayley to compete in a game of paper, rock, scissors during a backstage promo. Also, during the actual match, she was overheard saying "you were so cute" randomly to the boss before forcing her into the top position of a Tower of Doom spot. She even bailed later from the match to steal the ring bell, just to beat on it for a while. After the bout, she kissed the ref in celebration of her big win. If that wasn't enough of a list of insanity, her version of Bayley's finisher took the cake for being the best. The commentary team dubbed it the Foxy to Belly, which is good enough for a name, at least for the time being. Alicia should make it a habit to steal other women's moves. She probably could do a mean figure 8. Number 2. Jordan's arm after the guitar shot. Elias and Jason Jordan competed on this episode of Raw in a rematch from their TLC encounter. There was a bit of controversy from the previous night's pay-per-view because the ref counted the fall in favor of Jason Jordan, even though Elias's shoulders were clearly not down for 3. If they hoped to have a less wild ending for their follow-up encounter, that simply wasn't going to happen. Jordan won the match via DQ when Elias destroyed a guitar off of his body. Kurt Angle's baby boy writhed, and in less than a minute his very real pain became evident. His upper left arm became red and started swelling as the ringside personnel tended to him. Jason didn't need any reminders to sell here, because that had to hurt. Impact announced earlier on Monday that they've officially ended their business relationship with Jeff Jarrett. Maybe WWE can hire him to a very short-term contract, just long enough to give a certain drifter a tip or two on how not to legitimately injure opponents with his musical instrument. Number 1. Red vs. Blue. The ending of Raw set up the upcoming SmackDown Live vs. Raw themed Survivor Series with a massive Under Siege invasion by the Blue brand. Under the direction of Shane McMahon, Tuesday's roster went around the arena, scouring for any wrestler or personnel member they could find to beat up. The only problem with it all, and this is a big gripe, is that it made little sense. For starters, the brand split meant minimal before tonight. Kane's return to Raw, even though he was last drafted to SmackDown, is an example of this. Also, AJ Styles fought alongside 2 Raw competitors at the beginning of the show, only to battle against those same guys later that night. Being a babyface, Shouldn't he at least be a little conflicted about his actions? And most importantly, who really would rush to get up close and personal with every person on a roster that's currently being ravaged by an outbreak of mumps and/or viral meningitis? The SmackDown roster's vile hatred of Raw was not explained, and that was a huge storyline botch. Also, it appeared that Matt Hardy and Finn Balor hang out fully clothed in the shower together. They're adults who don't have to explain themselves, but it's worth noting